Hey guys, today we're going to recap Manhwa. The final boss prince is somehow obsessed with the chubby villainess. Let's get to 500 likes so we can drop the second part even faster. Opening her eyes and finding herself in an unfamiliar world, she felt energy fill her body. Standing in front of a mirror, she saw her lavender hair and violet eyes. This was not the face she was used to. Who was she now? Fragments of memories floated through her mind, while the room around her seemed strange and mysterious. She could sense someone's presence. Suddenly, she realized this was reincarnation, just like in her favorite books and manga. Her old life had ended, and a new one was just beginning. She looked at the mirror closely and recognized the face. It was Celine, the villainess from her favorite novel, but now in a younger form. As I recall, Celine was the daughter of a duke, living a carefree life, abusing her status and denying herself nothing. But her fate in the story was tragic. Celine tormented her younger sister and eventually met her death at the hands of the prince. She thought, how did I end up in this body, and what should I do now to avoid that grim fate? She remembered her past life, the illness that had confined her to bed since childhood. Books were her only solace, offering her hope and inspiration. But now she had a chance to start over. Though the role of Celine and the world around her seemed complex and frightening, she felt the determination to change her destiny. Looking ahead with confidence, villainous or not, that would now be up to her. This world was her new story, and she was going to write it by her own rules. Celine enjoyed her new body. She could run and jump without getting tired. So this is true happiness, she thought, laughing. But in her joy, she caught the edge of her dress and lost her balance. Oh, Celine yelped as she tumbled to the floor. She fell with a thud. The pain was minor, but surprising. Ouch, I thought I already knew how to walk, she groaned. Hearing the commotion, two maids rushed into the room. My lady, are you all right? They cried in panic as they helped her up. Blushing and smiling awkwardly, Celine thanked them, greatly surprising the maids. The maids exchanged glances. She's changed? One whispered, while the other barely held back a smile. Suddenly, a figure appeared in the doorway. What's going on here? A girl asked, peeking around the door. Celine saw the familiar pink head. It was Adele, her younger sister and the story's heroine. Celine felt a slight nervousness. Oh my gosh, it's Adele, Celine whispered, watching her sister. Adele stood at the door, warily observing her. She's so beautiful, Celine thought, admiring Adele's soft pink hair and gentle smile. It was clear she was the main heroine. Celine thought about Louis and Adele. Love was starting to blossom between them, and she wanted to become their friend, not their enemy. Celine smiled, but the mysterious figure in the black cloak showed that her villainous side hadn't entirely vanished, though she no longer wanted to cause harm. Celine reflected on her former fate and resolved to change everything, ensuring a happy ending. Adele peeked from the door, and Celine decided to protect her sister, wanting to build a strong bond. Celine realized her survival depended on becoming the best version of herself and using this time for transformation. She was certain that if she could improve her relationship with Adele, both of them would be happy, and her face lit up with joy. Celine sat on the bed, looking out the window, grateful for the second chance she'd been given, even in the body of a villainess. Full of determination, she clenched her fists. Her eyes burned with resolve, ready to start a new life from scratch. Celine thoughtfully held her stomach, dreaming of falling in love and living a normal life, something that had been impossible in her previous life. Celine looked ahead intently. Her first goal was to take care of her health and watch her diet. Without self-love, she couldn't truly love others. Adele stood in front of Celine, apologizing. Sorry, I didn't mean to bother you, sister. Celine tried to speak, but her sharp tone frightened her younger sister. Celine was surprised as she saw Adele run off. I'll get out of your sight right now. Her attempt to reach out had failed. Celine reached out a hand to stop Adele, but she had already disappeared. Celine softly whispered, "Wait." Celine sadly realized that her previous actions had damaged her relationship with Adele. I always did whatever I wanted, and now I can't just start a conversation. Celine held her head in fear. Maybe fate is already sealed, she thought in panic. Celine smiles brightly and greets Adele. Adele, good morning. She looks friendly and excited, trying to make contact with her younger sister. Adele, seeing Celine, runs away in fear. Her face shows anxiety and she wants to escape as quickly as possible. Celine reaches out, trying to stop her, but she doesn't make it in time. But she doesn't give up and tries to chase after Adele, saying, "Hey, let's go together." She hopes to mend their relationship and appears friendly. Two maids hold Adele by the hands and lead her away. Adele hides behind the maids, unwilling to communicate. Celine reaches out her hand, but her attempt fails. Chasing after Adele and the maids, she looks determined and isn't ready to give up on her effort to rebuild their relationship. Celine sits on the floor in front of the maid and says sadly, "I just wanted to see Adele." The maid responds, "Madam, told us not to let you meet her. Celine is deeply upset. She sits, staring at the table, and says, I can't even get close to her. She looks discouraged, her efforts so far unsuccessful. Celine gazes off thoughtfully, recalling her past actions. She understands why Adele avoids her and realizes how her behavior has affected their relationship. Celine stands in front of the mirror and says to herself, but that's no reason to give up. Raising her fist, she motivates herself. I don't want to die, and I want to get along with her. Determination fills her once again. Celine looks forward with confidence and strength. She is determined to keep moving forward and not give up, no matter the difficulties. Her father watches the scene unfold from the window, his face showing concern. He seems worried, perhaps about what he just witnessed. The man notices Celine running and wonders, what's going on over there? His expression is filled with confusion and worry over the situation. Celine runs breathless, trying to catch up to someone or escape something. Her face is full of determination despite her exhaustion. The maids, noticing Celine, start whispering to each other. They seem troubled by her behavior, especially when they see her fall. Celine gets up from the ground, trying to pull herself together. Her face shows fatigue, but she keeps moving forward. Celine bumps into a woman in a luxurious dress who looks surprised. Next to the woman, Adele peers out, watching cautiously. Despite her tiredness, Celine smiles and says, all right, see you again. She tries to appear confident. The woman and Adele watch as Celine walks away, surprised by her persistence and unusual behavior. The Duke continues to observe from the window, his gaze filled with thoughts and wonder. He hadn't expected this behavior from Celine. The man questions what is happening with Celine and why she has changed so much. A servant tells the Count about what's been happening. He mentions that Celine runs around the estate every day. The man is curious as to why she's doing it. The man sits in a chair by the window, thoughtfully asking if anything else has changed. His gaze is intense and worried. The servant adjusts his glasses and informs him that Lady Adele has been talking to Lady Celine more frequently, and that Adele has even started conversations herself. The Duke looks pensively off to the side and asks about any potential hostile actions from Celine. His face expresses seriousness and caution. The servant replies that there have been no hostile actions. Celine is simply trying to talk. At a large dining table, Lady Celine, Lady Adele, the father, and several other people sit. The atmosphere is formal but calm. Adele looks surprised, sitting at the table and saying something. It's clear that the situation has confused her. Celine looks excitedly at the food before her, holding a knife and fork. Her face expresses anticipation. In the background, Lady Celine is seen eating at the table. The maids whisper about what's happened to her, noting that she used to eat much more. The father addresses Celine. What are you up to? His face shows concern and a desire to understand what's happening. Celine is surprised and looks at him confused, raising her eyebrows questioningly. He adds that her recent behavior seems mysterious. Celine looks a bit nervous, saying that people don't trust her and think she's plotting something. She tries to be friendly, but her eyes show worry. Celine firmly declares that this is her chance to show her moral change and acknowledge her mistakes. Her face is full of confidence and a sincere desire to change. Celine sits at the table and asks everyone for forgiveness. Her posture and facial expression convey seriousness and deep remorse. Celine holds a handkerchief and cries, saying she has caused a lot of problems and concern. Tears stream down her cheeks, and she appears genuinely repentant. Celine speaks, saying that even she has finally realized her mistakes. Her words express uncertainty, but also a desire to change. Two maids listen to Celine. One looks embarrassed while the other laughs, covering her mouth with her hand. Celine decides to get her body back in shape. Celine sits at the table with her head bowed low in a gesture of apology. She says, I sincerely apologize to Adele. Her words are accompanied by the thought that she hated Adele out of jealousy. Adele, not understanding what is happening, asks a question. The characters discuss the current situation. The main heroine admits that she is not highly trusted due to her past actions, which raises suspicions. She sees this as an opportunity to prove that she has changed and is capable of genuine remorse. Celine wants to apologize to everyone for her past behavior. She acknowledges that she has caused many problems for others and now strives to correct her mistakes. Adele also admits that even she has realized her own mistakes and wants to rectify her actions. It is a scene of forgiveness and realization. The characters are surprised when the heroine mentions that she wants to get her body in shape, causing mixed emotions. The main heroine talks about her training and how her muscles are getting stronger, while the distance she can run is increasing. As she says goodbye, she smiles, noting how much she's sweating but proud that she managed to accomplish it. Her gaze is full of determination. She feels her body responding to her efforts. Her muscles are growing stronger, and each workout brings her satisfaction. With every step, she becomes stronger. Joy is reflected on her face as she recalls losing 5 kilograms. The plateau phase presents new challenges, but she is ready to keep going despite the slowing progress. A little girl girl and a maid are watching something astonishing. The girl's gaze is filled with curiosity and a slight fear of the unknown. Her timid good day reveals how nervous she is. Her eyes dart from side to side, betraying her anxiety. She smiles as if her heart is about to leap from her chest. Adele's response brings warmth and joy. She is full of hope and inspiration. She looks puzzled and embarrassed. Her response is unclear, but it shows her desire to explain. Her eyes show insecurity, but also a determination to be honest. The maid pulls her by the hand, urging, "Miss, let's go. He's coming soon." There is a hint of impatience in her words, as the meeting is important. She stands alone, wondering who this important person is. Her face expresses worry and anxiety. Her mind is filled with questions, and she doesn't know what to expect. Her expression turns sad, and her voice carries a sense of hurt. "Of course, no one wants us to meet," she whispers, trying to convince herself. She decides to leave, choosing a longer route to avoid running into him. Doubt starts to grow within her, but she opts for the difficult path to avoid the encounter. In a green forest, bathed in soft sunlight, sits a black cat. Its amber eyes gleam like two fireflies, and its ears are perked up attentively. Celine gazes at the cat with delight, her cheeks blushing from excitement. Her heart melts with tenderness, and her eyes shine with joy at this unexpected encounter. She slowly crouches down, carefully extending her hand. In her gaze, there is warmth and gentleness, as if she fears breaking this fragile connection. Suddenly, the cat swipes its paw, and the girl pulls her hand back in surprise. For a moment, her face freezes in astonishment, then a smile flickers across her lips. The moment was unexpected, but almost comical. Maintaining her warm smile, Celine gently speaks to the cat. "Hey, calm down, let's play." Her voice is soft and soothing. She holds the cat in her arms, her eyes sparkling with happiness, and a gentle smile plays on her lips. The cute cat sweetly kisses her cheek. The cat then swiftly jumps out of her arms. The girl laughs, her joyful laughter echoing down the path as she runs after the cat. Her hair flows in the wind, and her eyes glisten with happiness. Hearing her name called, she turns her head towards the familiar voice. Her expression is thoughtful and slightly distant, with a soft smile on her face. Her eyes widen in surprise as she glances over her shoulder. Her gaze reflects a mix of astonishment and curiosity. In the background, standing near a castle, is a young man with golden hair. His face shows mild confusion and inner worry. Celine looks on with surprise and excitement. "I've seen him in the illustrations of the novel." Her face expresses interest and caution. He's still young, but there's already something majestic about him. His gaze is slightly weary but confident. This is the hero, the first prince of this country. Against the backdrop of the palace square, the girl and the prince stand face to face for the first time, not noticing Adele and the maids approaching them. A group of characters appeared, and Adele whispered in surprise, "Sister?" The heroine smiled awkwardly, trying to explain. "We met by accident. I was just out for a walk," gesturing nervously. But suddenly she decided, maybe this is my chance to show myself. Her face lit up with confidence. With determination, she thought, if I show that I'm no longer interested in Louis, everything will change. With a wide smile, she said, "Sorry for this unexpected meeting." Her joy seemed genuine. Then she turned to the others. "Enjoy the gathering, I'll be off." Her departure sparked interest and mild confusion. Her sister hurriedly added, "Sister, let's spend time together after you change." Adele's voice sounded caring. Celine thought with slight embarrassment, how does she stay so kind despite everything I've done to her? The heroine replied with a smile, "Thank you, everything's fine." Her voice was full of confidence. "And I apologize for past inconveniences," she added sincerely. Gathering herself, she said, "I won't interfere anymore." Her words sounded firm, causing slight surprise among those around her. With a smile, the heroine concluded, "Well then." There was a sense of relief in her voice, as if a weight had been lifted from her shoulders. She thought to herself, now everything is truly fine. Let these two be happy. Her gaze turned toward Louis and Adele. Louis stood silently, clearly puzzled, not showing his emotions, but clearly reflecting on what had just happened. The heroine sat at the table, focused on writing, while her mentor closely observed her work. Looking over what had been written, the mentor exclaimed in surprise, "All the answers are correct? This is simply flawless." The heroine cheerfully responded, "That's wonderful. Thank you so much." Her face beamed with happiness and gratitude. The mentor, still surprised, asked, "Until next week?" The heroine responded energetically, "Yes, of course." The mentor recalled how Celine used to lose her temper quickly, getting nervous and even throwing things. Her current confusion seemed understandable. Celine's father had hired a tutor to help her deepen her understanding of the world around her. This greatly expanded Celine's knowledge. Celine rejoiced in her progress and said, "I'm happy I can learn." She looked forward to her magic lessons next week. A moment came to mind when Adele had revealed the power of the goddess within her. Celine wondered if she, too, would be able to use magic. Satisfied with her progress, Celine said, "Now it's time for some physical training in the grove." Her joy after a day of learning was obvious. Three maids discussed the latest news. One excitedly said, "Did you hear? Celine is no longer interested in the first prince." One of the maids happily speculated, "Maybe she's truly changed." The other two were doubtful. One said, "Isn't personality formed by the age of 3?" The other added, "She's definitely up to something." Jenna smiled. "I believe people can change." Her friend replied skeptically, "You're too naive." Celine eavesdrops on the maids' conversation, knowing everything they're saying, though they have no idea she's listening. Alone in her thoughts, the heroine acknowledges that her reincarnation hasn't just changed her, but others around her too. With affection, she looks at Jenna, seeing a kind and sincere girl, which warms her heart. She hopes that, in time, people will notice her changes. Her face reflects satisfaction and confidence. After her workout, the heroine lies on the grass, breathing heavily, realizing how tough the path to perfection is, but she's making progress. Lying on the grass, she understands that despite the difficulties, she feels alive and enjoys the moment. Filled with determination, she gets up, ready for more exercises with optimism. The heroine notices something unexpected ahead, and surprise overtakes her. She sees someone, or something, in the distance and, excited by the possible encounter, heads forward with enthusiasm. Could it be that little cat? In the forest, a boy in a cloak lies on the grass, clearly in a dire state. Celine, shocked by his appearance, steps forward thinking, "What happened to him?" Panicking, Celine rushes to the boy shouting, "Are you alive?" He doesn't respond. His face is hidden and his body seems lifeless. After checking his pulse, she realizes he's alive and exhales in relief, though her worry hasn't completely faded. Supporting the weak boy, she decides to find a safe place for him as quickly as possible. Time is running out. Determination and fear for his life fill her eyes. She knows that saving him is now her responsibility. The boy is covered in strange red markings, resembling magical wounds. Every step they take is a struggle for his life. She firmly resolves to get him to safety, her face showing seriousness and a readiness to fight to the end. The young lady is surprised at how light the boy seems, but she doesn't stop trying to save him. Supporting each other, they slowly move forward, and one promise rings in the girl's mind: "I will save him." In a spacious bedroom, the girl anxiously watches the doctor examining the weakened young boy. Clasping her hands in prayer, she hopes for his recovery. The heroine anxiously asks the doctor about the boy's condition and whether he will be all right. Her eyes are full of worry, but she tries to stay calm. The doctor examines the boy, pausing, which makes the heroine even more anxious. The silence tells her that the situation is serious. The doctor says that the boy has no external injuries and it's not an illness. He looks puzzled but tries to understand what's happening. The boy lies on the bed, his chest covered in ominous markings. In his consciousness, a voice says that this is a curse, not an illness, creating a dark and threatening impression. The doctor explains that the boy is under a strong curse. He adds that it is an extremely serious matter, which fills the heroine with fear. The heroine cannot believe that the boy is suffering from such a powerful curse. Her thoughts are full of doubt and worry about how to deal with this threat. The heroine stands beside the boy, who lies in bed with bandaged wounds. She reflects on the fact that this is Prince Wilfred, an important character and the final boss of the novel, and she's surprised by his dire state.